Shut it off. Red is good. Red means we're recording. All right. Good luck.
Come in. Hi.
Good evening. I'm
Hi.
Kristen Stevenson with ADP.
Hi, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Do you mind if I take a seat?
Please, absolutely. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining me.
So before I forget, I just want to give you my business card. You can contact me at any time after our meeting if you have any questions.
Great, thanks so much.
And do you mind if I take notes today?
Absolutely, please.
Great. So I saw that you guys actually were doing some community service in the newspaper last weekend. That's great that you get back to the community.
Absolutely. You know, we've been kind of in the Atlanta, Georgia area now for a little bit, and being open for over 10 years now, we just really feel committed to this space, and we love it every time we can.
That's awesome. And how did you get into the medical industry?
Oh man, I think from birth, right? I've always been very, very analytical, and I just love kind of dissecting and figuring out the problems of my patients and some of the things we do. So it's just always been a passion of mine.
Have you enjoy being in business for yourself?
Yeah, I do. I certainly wouldn't consider myself an entrepreneur, but I think I just like the freedom to see the experience for myself and not have to rely on anyone else. And so I like that feeling of having that ownership.
That's amazing. Great accomplishment.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I just want to tell you a little bit about our company.
Please.
We are actually the largest payroll services company in the United States.
Okay.
And 1 in 7 employees are actually paid by us.
Wow.
So with our widespread presence nationwide, it's really important to us to have a long-term relationships with our customers and make sure that as their company is growing, we're growing with them.
Oh, that's great.
A lot of people think that we just do payroll, but we actually have many different subsidiaries such as HR management, tax management, and more that I'll get into later.
Okay.
So it's my understanding that I came here today to see if ADP can help you with anything, and if at the end of the day that's something you're interested in, are you the final decision maker on that?
Yeah, I pretty much am a partner with my wife, and so there's she's absolutely someone that I would include in that decision process.
Of course.
But yeah, I'm definitely your point of contact.
Great. Okay. And we agreed on having 20 minutes. Does that still work for you?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so here's what I want to do with our time today.
Okay.
I'll ask you a few questions, get to know your business a little more and your needs, and then I'll tailor my presentation specifically to what you're looking for.
Okay.
If we can help you out, and if everything seems to work out, we'll talk about further steps.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Perfect.
Good? Okay. So, who handles the payroll in your company?
So my wife does a lot of the payroll. Ellen does most of that for us. But we also have an assistant who works with us, and she does a lot of the payroll as well.
Okay. And it's my understanding that you have 15 employees at Peachtree City and then 20 at Newman?
Yeah, so we're around 35 total.
Okay. So how often do you pay your employees?
Bi-weekly.
And what current system are you using?
We use this Microsoft system, like a Microsoft Dynamics, I think, something like that.
And does that cost anything to use?
There's an annual fee that we pay to update it every year. I think it's somewhere right around $1,500 is what we pay to update it.
Okay. So how much time does it take you in a week to update all of this in your system and get your employees paid?
Yeah,
or your wife, Ellen?
Sure. That's a good question. I think between her and the office assistant that we have who does a good bit of it, I would probably say that they spend 6 to 7 hours processing payroll. So doing, the paychecks, like processing, 3 minutes per paycheck or something like that. And then, but there's a lot of going back and going over the timesheets that is a big deal for us. So they probably spend, of that 7 hours a week they're doing that, it's probably 5 hours just going back through and making sure there's no issues or incorrect information in the timesheet.
Okay. Do you see any difficulty in trying to find that time? Have they expressed any difficulty to you trying to find that time out of the week to dedicate to that?
Sure, absolutely. You know, I think it's something where my wife certainly doesn't have the time to do it anymore or oversee it, and I think that you know, our assistant who works with us, she's great, but I don't think that that's where it's not efficient. I don't think that that's the best use of her time. We're very busy. Everyone's really busy in the office, and there's just no reason they should probably be doing that.
Okay, and if you could be doing something else with that time, what else would she be able to do?
Sure. What I think for us, my wife in particular, we have young children, and so she absolutely should focus more on that. But I think really, as much as she kind of oversees that area, it's our assistant who processes a ton of it, and so I think she could be helping us engage with clients, re-engage with past clients or prospective clients. We're trying to grow as a business, and I think that's something she could help us with.
Oh, okay. Where do you see yourself growing?
So I think we want to probably open a third location here in the next few years. We're also looking at potentially bringing on 5 or more new employees over the next year or two. So I think that there's definitely time associated with bringing on new employees, as I'm sure you know. That again, we don't have the time and the resources to dedicate to that.
And would those employees be spread out between the 2 locations or just one?
I think we haven't made determinations on that yet, but probably more than likely split up between the 2. A lot of times we'll have employees that may go back and forth.
Mm-hmm. So when your wife and the assistant is putting in the payroll data, are they ever seeing errors with inputs where they have to go back and change it?
Yeah, absolutely. We 100% do. So for us, Kim is the assistant who's doing a lot of that. Reworking. Like I said, she probably takes 5 hours a week going back and doing that. More time at the end of every month and at the end of a quarter going back through and looking at that. And I think part of it is there's not a good tracking system either, like long-term reports for it either.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so reporting too is important. And talking about more on compliance.
Mm-hmm.
And staying up to date with current laws.
Sure.
Do you guys have your labor law posters up?
Yeah, we do have our labor law posters up. We've had an issue once in the past in terms of taxes, and we were flagged once for that. And I think again that's just trying to balance too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's we're just not being very efficient. It's costing us too much time and our labor to do some of these things.
Okay. So from what I can see, some of your big points are that you want to save time.
Mm-hmm.
The payroll process is a lot, doing it manually.
Absolutely.
You reduce errors so that you don't have to waste more time going back and changing. And also staying up to date with current laws because you did have that one fine.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything else I didn't cover that you would like to express?
I think for us, we're always dollar and cents is very important. So I think really we're trying to invest in some new equipment is one thing that we want to do, and I think somehow trying to fix this efficiency that we have to be able to make more of a higher return on our daily revenue or annual revenue to be able to do some of that investing. That's key for us as well. So if there's any way that making this more efficient can drive that would be great.
Okay. So ADP has been around since 1949. We've been in business for 65 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we serve customers in over 125 countries, actually. Wow. And as I was saying before, we are the global provider of the cloud-based system management, which we call RUN.
Okay.
And RUN is where we're able to unite HR, payroll, talent, time, tax, and benefit administration all into one program.
That's great.
So that you can incorporate all these different things, save time, bring it all together.
Okay.
So with the payroll and tax filing, we are able to do that all in the system.
Mm-hmm.
You can pretty much put your employee's payroll in there, and if anything changes, you can make changes, but you can save it automatically for weekly, so you don't have to go back in. And that would save you a lot of time to have all of these different things put in one spot.
Okay.
Do you see how that could save you time?
Yeah, potentially being able to go back in and look at that, I think that would be helpful.
Okay, and also we have a payroll preview service,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this would help you with reducing your errors in the payroll.
Okay.
Studies show that our clients preview their payroll 1.7 times, which means that 70% of the time they have to go back and change something on their payroll.
Okay.
So you guys aren't the only people that make errors, and a lot of it just happens. You have to
Sure.
go back, people change their hours, and you have to make changes.
Mm-hmm.
So with this payroll preview, before you submit it, you can just review everything and double check and make sure easily that it's being sent out the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how that could reduce your errors?
I do. You know, one of the things I'm curious about is as we talk about kind of putting in a system and making the switch is what's the benefit of, you know, going to a system instead of just hiring an accountant to do all of it and just focus completely on that?
Well, in the end, I think that doing it in the system is going to save you a lot of time.
Okay.
Also, we have the back end of what accountants have, making sure that our compliance is there. We're gonna, like, everything will be correct, and you won't have any problems with different tax laws and everything.
Okay.
Also, it would be easy because there's different types. You can go onto your cell phone or your iPad and wherever you are right there and update something if you need to right away,
Okay.
instead of trying to contact a separate entity and having her do all of this manually again. It goes
Okay.
back to wasting time as well.
Sure. No, and that's definitely a huge issue for us.
Okay, so you see how this could benefit in that way?
Sure.
If you're an accountant.
Yeah.
And then also with the labor law posters, we are required and do stay up to date with all state and federal laws and labor law posters. So if anything changes, we will come straight into your business and change them for you, drop them off, and if anything else changes with the laws in regards to any other compliance issues that don't have to do with the labor law posters, we'll also update you with that.
Okay.
So you absolutely will never have to deal with any kind of fees being taxed to you.
Okay.
Do you see how that could help you?
Yeah.
With staying up to current laws.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely an issue no company wants to deal with.
Okay. So I just want to go over what I think would work best for you.
Okay.
Since you have 2 different locations
Mm-hmm.
and you have 15 employees in one and 20 in the other,
Okay.
I think the best package that would work for you is, the package that would work for you is the 11 to 20 employees.
Okay.
So what this does is it charges you $38.95 every time you process your payroll.
Okay.
You're processing it bi-weekly. So for both of your locations, this would come out to $77.90 a week.
Okay.
And with our 26 pay periods in a year, it would come out to $2,025.40 a year.
Okay.
Now, I know that you said you pay $1,500 in software, and I know you work with Capital One, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And they charge you about $300 a month for banking fees, which comes out to $3,000
Mm-hmm.
for banking fees. So you're pretty much paying $4,500 a year, and by this coming out to $2,025, you're really saving money here.
Okay. I guess what I'm just kind of curious about is, you know, so I think there is an issue with the banking fees. I think we pay $250, not $300 a month.
Okay.
Just on that piece, and you know, I'm kind of curious, you know, as we think about that, could you maybe dive in a little bit to more so of like how exactly I would be saving money with this?
Yes. So you are completely correct. It comes out to $3,000 from $250 a month.
Okay.
I was incorrect on that, but
Okay.
yeah, still $3,000.
Okay.
So by paying out this to your Capital One banking fees,
Mm-hmm.
if you work with us, we have our banks that you don't have to pay those fees anymore. We take care of that on our end because of our very strong relationships with our banks.
Okay.
So that banking fee is just going to be gone for you, and we concur that.
Okay.
The software update, you won't have to use that software anymore. So you won't have to ever do an update for $1,500.
Okay.
So I also want to mention that we have an implementation cost of
Okay.
$150 per company ID, which you have 2.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this together would come out to $2,325.40 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And with you spending $4,500,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be saving about $2,175.
Well, I like that.
And I know you mentioned that money is important to put into other areas because
Mhm.
you're trying to grow your business.
Absolutely. No, we definitely are. You know, I think for me, one of the questions I'm curious about is, as you talk about savings, obviously that's great. Do I have to sign like a long-term contract or anything like that? I really don't like the idea of contracts or big commitments. It's not something I feel comfortable with.
Yeah, absolutely not. Actually, it's really great. We only charge you every pay period,
Okay.
and if you don't want to continue the next pay period, you tell us right away. I'm done. I'm out. I'm
Okay.
not using this pay period,
Okay.
and we won't charge you. Also, if there's a holiday and you aren't paying them that week, or
Mhm.
you want to, like sum it up and pay it all one week and not the next,
Mm-hmm.
we still won't charge you for that holiday or that 1 week that you aren't using us.
Okay.
So
Great.
literally every pay period is when you pay.
Okay. It really sounds like there's a lot of great resources here and a lot of things that I love saving money. I love being able to invest. I do want to be honest. I have a golf buddy who works at Paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
So I am, in conversation with them as well. Is there anything, that you think makes kind of ADP stand out from some of those other companies?
Yeah, well, I can't really say anything on behalf of Paychecks, but with ADP, we have our own territory management,
Mm-hmm.
and that's so important to us because we want to have a face to our company. We are so large, and we have a lot of relationships with banks and different companies, but we also want that personal connection.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any issues with anything, I will be the person that you can reach out to, and I can come straight to your company and work with you on a personal level.
Great. Okay.
Does that
I like
help
that.
your concern?
Yeah, I like that. That's great.
So if everything sounds good, I can get you set up by next Friday, and we can come out and update any labor law posters and make any double checks on that.
Well, you know what? I think, like I mentioned, my wife is really someone who plays a big part in this. So I'd love to just kind of run some of those impressive numbers by her and just kind of see, her thoughts on that as well before we kind of sign or make any decision.
Okay, well, I absolutely understand that,
Mhm.
and we went over how much money this is going to save you even weekly, so are you just sure you want to start saving money and saving time now right away?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm very analytical. Sometimes I overanalyze things. So I think I just need a little more time and want to sit with her and Kim and just try and process some of that as well.
Okay, well, would you like to set up another meeting where we can meet with you and your wife?
Yeah, I would love to do that. If we could do that next Monday, that would be great.
Okay, next Monday at what time works for you?
Anytime in the morning is perfect.
Okay, so let's say Monday at 9 o'clock?
Great.
Okay,
All right.
I'll see
Thank
you
you
then.
very much. It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry to be tired.
No, you're fine. You did a great job.
Thank you.